Talking about Manchester City, that moves on nicely to one of their players, Raheem Sterling. He's been linked with multiple reports, including Mundo Deportivo in Spain, saying that he could go to Barcelona. He's been on their radar for a while, apparently. And again, let's just break this down because Barcelona, we know they haven't got a lot of money right now, but they have moved on Antoine Griezmann. They have moved on Messi and many, many others. The salary cap situation from this report says that it will improve by January 2022, so they can start bringing in bigger name players and spending money again. Nick, do we see this happening? Because Sterling's got less than 2 years left on his contract at City, and he's in kind of a weird spot there right now. So maybe it's time for him to think about something different, and this would be very different.
Yeah, I look at him and I think, where is his value the highest? And I know that they have rivals incentive, but English players get big money from English teams. And I don't know that they wouldn't be better off taking one of their rivals' entire transfer budget for that summer or whatever Sterling's value is, because he is still, look at some of the money that was floated out there for Harry Kane. And when I look at Barcelona and I think about the issues they have right now, there's talk about them not being able to tie down Ansu Fati to a new deal. Homegrown 18, one of maybe their best chance to have a talisman now that Messi's left. They gave him the number 10 jersey and he wasn't worried about it. Think about that. And, Pedri there. Do they need a winger? I mean, they have Memphis there. No, they need a guy. What I told you and what we talked about with Jadon Sancho, Man United has to make that signing. They have to find a way to bring in that guy who is that caliber, who screams through the headlines. Barcelona's own version of a Galactico. That's kind of what I think what they need right now if they're going to spend a lot of money. And I don't think Raheem Sterling does that. With a ton of respect to him, I just don't think he fits that bill.
Andy, what are your thoughts on this? Because Sterling, he's 26 years of age. He's not starting a lot at the start of the season. He doesn't really seem to fit into this new look Man City team with the 4 or 5 attacking midfielders up top, and then you guys just float around and do your thing. In the right team, like for England at the Euros in the summer, I covered that throughout the tournament. He was excellent, one of the players of the tournament, and he's unplayable at times. But if he's not going to be used in the right way, there's probably no point of him staying at Man City, right? So what do you see in this situation? Would it be a good move for him to go to Barca?
Yeah, there's certainly no point for him to stay. Obviously, Manchester City having him as an option as depth and an experienced player is valuable, but he's not going to want that beyond this season if things don't really change for him. So, in the right team, I think he can still be very productive. And so it's a bit of what does the eye test say and a bit of what do the stats say. And because to compare those two things in this case, it's one where it doesn't really match up. I think a lot of us have gotten pretty comfortable with using both of those things to paint a good picture of what a player is or what his value to a team is or how he can help a team. But with Sterling, when he's on the field, it looks like he's involved in nothing. He's lost a bit of his first step. He was never sprinter fast over long distances, but he always had that extra half step coming out of tight spaces to get around a defender, to get past a defender, to get up on a defender before he's ready and before he's comfortable. And at that point, Raheem Sterling has won. He's beat you. He doesn't have that right now. And so it's about what kind of player is he going to become? Is he going to transition, I think, probably a little bit more central, not as a traditional number 10, but he's going to play underneath a striker, I think, because he doesn't quite have the legs to be out wide now. And he can be productive there, but he needs a striker to play ahead of him. He needs somebody to play off of. He needs someone to set up. It worked really well when Sergio Aguero was at the top of his power at Manchester City. Those were Sterling's best years. Obviously, Aguero's at Barcelona now. I don't think we'd say he's at the top of his power anymore. So he's kind of just trading one strikerless team for another if he makes this move to Manchester City. And it's probably not going to work out for that tactical fit right there.
It's going to be interesting. Of course, Sterling is in contract talks with Man City, so he's been linked with other clubs as well. Arsenal interested. Mikel Arteta worked closely with him and knows all about him. He grew up in London. That might be a good move for him. It's weird because Sterling has been so good for Man City for many, many seasons, proved all the doubters wrong. But it just feels like maybe if they do go and win the Champions League this season, then this would be a good time for him to move on. He's done everything at City. And then it's crazy to think he's only 26 years of age. We were saying this earlier, that he's been around for a very, very long time in the Premier League and at the very top level. And speaking from an England perspective, I love what he's been doing for the national team and showed his qualities there. And I think in the right situation, he still has so much more to give, and he can even go to new levels. So if Barca can afford him, I think it'd be a good move. But by the time he ends up at Barca, I think they probably have a different manager. They probably have a different philosophy and a much more stable situation there. So yeah, it's, well, maybe a little bit.
First two, yes. The third one, no.
It's going to be interesting. But over at Pro Soccer Talk on NBCSports.com, we'll keep you updated with the latest transfer news from around the Premier League and elsewhere in Europe. There's a lot going on, even though these domestic leagues are taking a bit of a break. Now you kind of start to hear with Mbappe and Sterling and others, when these players go away on international duty, that's when some of the juicy transfer rumors and reports start to crop up. So it's quite fun this time of the month. And when players head away from their clubs, I feel like they always have a bit more freedom to speak about their futures. And that's very interesting for us and everybody else in between.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch highlights all season long, and be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend at 7 a.m. Eastern. And for even more content, head over to Peacock, where we've got live games, original series, and a dedicated round-the-clock Premier League channel featuring studio shows, classic matches, and much more.